Hey everybody, what's going on? It is I, the actual King Smith, live on this Sunday, May the 11th, and we are here to do a live stream of The Sports Bar presented by WTF Nation Radio. But I am not the only person that does this show, as I have the affectionable, the sometimes rant man himself, the avatar that is popping up, bing, hold up, bing, right there. The avatar known as Coach. Coach, let the people know something.
What do you hear? What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Mother's Day to all the women that are out there. Even if you're not a mother, well, just go ahead and meet up with King a little bit later, and that might be taken care of. But that being said, I hope everybody had a great Mother's Day. If you did not celebrate your mother, or you did not celebrate your wife, or the mother of your children, well, shame on you. Go do it. You still have another 4 more hours to go get something. Go run out to Trader Joe's, get a 9.99 set of flowers, and say, "Hey, sorry, honey, I did think of you." But to all you, everybody else out there, for all you men, hey, we're in the middle of the playoffs. Baseball has started. We've got, all the motorsports are in full swing. Next weekend, the next 2 weeks are kind of my motorsport nirvana. So I'm rather happy about that. And you know what? I'm actually kind of ticked off too, King, because of everything having to do with work. You know what I'm missing on Saturday?
What's
And I
that?
was going to report from? I was going to report from the NASCAR All Star Race in North Wilkesboro this upcoming Saturday,
Yo.
and I am unable to make it because I have to work on Sunday because today was supposed to be a day I was supposed to work, and it got canceled because of rain.
Oh man.
Man, yeah, sucks for me. But you know what? I do have something.
What's that?
I'm going to bring this up all the way up here for everybody that's watching on U.S. Army WTF Nation Radio and or U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, Facebook, YouTube, X, whatever else we're going on. I want you to drop a comment. I am thinking of a number between 1 and 100. And if you're in the North Carolina region and you get that number correctly between 1 and 100, I am going to send you 4 tickets to the All Star race
Oh, ho, ho,
tonight.
ho, ho. Okay. Whoa. I was not ready for that. So,
Neither was I. I just made it up as we were doing it.
okay. So,
Sorry, buddy.
man. All right. To everybody that, you know what? I have to put that in the comment section. Uh,
Let's put that in the comment section. Yeah, sorry, pal. I literally just made that up as we were talking
okay.
because I
Hold
was
on.
thinking
Type a
about it. I got
number
4 tickets that I can
between
get rid of.
1 through
Or not get rid of,
100.
give to a listener that will, or a watcher, whatever we have. I will give them those tickets. That's not absolutely.
Okay. Y'all. NASCAR All Star Race. Type a number
Hmm.
between 1 and 100.
Yep.
Coach is giving away
Whoever gets the number wins the tickets.
4 tickets to the NASCAR All Star Race. Y'all heard it here at W. This is why you got to watch WTF Nation Radio. Now, Coach, I do have to say something. You said
Hmm.
shame on those that don't celebrate Mother's Day. I'm
Yes.
one of the guys that don't celebrate Mother's Day, man. I don't.
Oh, shame
I
on you, my
yep.
friend.
Shame on
Shame
me
on
indeed. I
you.
don't celebrate Mother's Day. I don't celebrate Father's Day. But my rationale is kind of logical to me.
Okay, let's hear it.
Every day is Mother's Day. Every day is Father's Day. I don't believe in arbitrarily spending money just to show my mother or my father that I appreciate them or anything like that. I should show that every time I see them.
I respect that. I respect that. I'm not going to say anything bad about that. I respect that. You're just a cheap bastard.
Everybody says that, man. Everybody says that. We got Carol McGarvin Hamill put the number 29. Coach, are you able to backstage? That didn't sound right.
No, I am able to actually. I am up on Facebook right now. I can get onto the YouTubes. I can get onto every single one of them. I see Carol McGarvin Hamill's comment. Carol, I hate to tell you that's not the number, but yeah, I do see him up there, and I'll be able to message those people from there so we can get that taken care of. I'll message them from the Sports Bars page on Facebook.
All right. And then we also need to let our main man Nemo know to put that up as well on
Oh,
the
Well,
main page.
Is Nemo taking a knee right now?
Not yet. Not that I'm aware
Oh,
of.
okay. All right, let's get Nemo up and running.
Absolutely.
Have
Oh,
him do one last thing before he gets his sex change.
no doubt. To my lady, she said, "Hey, she logged in at 8 and didn't see anything. We started a little bit late. I had to get some
Sorry.
things fixed on my side. No, that wasn't you, Coach. That was all me. But you know what?
No,
We
I'm
are here.
apologizing because you're not doing any of that. You wouldn't apologize to her. You don't celebrate Mother's Day with her. I'm
Now,
kidding. I'm kidding.
all right, now, so for y'all that are new here to the Sports Bar, I'm King, that's Coach. We are both U.S. military veterans that do a live sports show where we talk about sports, not from a super analytical standpoint, but from the standpoint of a fan. We find stories that are interesting, clips that are funny, and we play those clips for y'all to listen to and enjoy. Now, Coach is a very analytical person over there. I follow a lot of the mainstream sports. Coach follows a lot of things that I don't follow.
Yes.
And we've been doing this
That's the
show
great
here.
thing about it, man. That's
Oh,
the great
yeah,
thing about it, you know?
absolutely. And we've been doing this here for a while now. And because of people like you guys, the viewer, occasionally y'all will send us some really cool shit like this right here. So this is one of the things that I recently received from David Cunningham, who is in the chat right now. This is a morale patch that says Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Hell yeah.
So to David, he also sent, there was another one in there. There were three different, depending on who you talk to, challenge coins or RMOs, round metal objects, that he also sent as well in kind of a care package and an Air Force hat. So to David, if you're out there watching and listening, thank you, sir. That was very thoughtful, and I do appreciate that.
David, you're closer than Carol was, is what I will say.
Ooh, all right. We've got some people responding. That's dope. So for those of y'all that may have just joined, type a number between 1 to 100, and Coach is giving away 4 tickets to the NASCAR All-Star race. What are my plans this weekend? Oh, I know what they are.
Well, hell, I mean, hey, look, actually, I would say I got no problem with that, King, if you guess the number, and I will give you those tickets. But how the hell are you going to get all the way down to North Wilkesboro, North Carolina?
Dude, that's a hop, skip, and a jump for me.
A
Anything,
little bit,
anything
yeah.
less than 8 hours, people will tell you, like folks that know me, I love driving. If I wasn't doing my current job, I would be an over the road truck driver. So yeah, man.
Man, I'm kind of the same way too, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, and you know what? I don't mind driving for a sports event. It's got to be a good sports event.
Yes, sir.
Well, the NASCAR All Star Race, it only happens once a year. Well, most NASCAR races only happen once a year, but you'll definitely enjoy it, man. And especially if you've never been to a NASCAR race before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait a minute. You've never been, have you?
I've been to Talladega
Oh, okay.
twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never. Well, you've been to the super speedway, so
Mhm.
yeah, this is a short track racing.
Man, one of our correspondents on WTF Nation Radio, Mad Mike, he went to an F1 event down
Yes,
in
he did.
Florida. And
Yeah.
and he said, "Man, I've never seen." He goes, "I've seen movies. I'm aware of what F1 racing is about." He said, "But seeing it in person is a totally different story." And NASCAR is the same way. Like the big NASCAR tracks, if you happen to get one of those seats that are down and those cars zoom past you going like 170, 180, some are hitting 190. Whew, y'all, I'm telling
You're
you,
never.
it is a
Yeah.
totally different feeling.
It is, and it's a great feeling. And like I said, we will be giving away those tickets, and I got no problem with that one. U.S. Army memes. Did not get the number, you pervert, but you're pretty close. Okay.
No doubt. All right, y'all. We've got a couple of stories here today. The Scottish Queen is making a return to WTF Nation Radio. Our favorite NHL hockey fan is making a return. Fiona Blake, I believe, is what her name is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We've got an article in which a couple of high school players did something that I thought was just dastardly, and we're going to cover that. I'm trying to see if I could get the screen to display the article, but I'm having some issues, but maybe we'll figure that out. We are going to talk NHL playoffs as well. We got the NBA playoffs in full effect, MLB is jumping off, and I made a stupid bet that I'm probably gonna lose money on, but I'm gonna talk through it with y'all, and y'all tell me what y'all think. So that's gonna be our show for today. And without further ado, let's start it with a funny clip. This clip here was sent by a viewer of the show. Oh, nope, I'm giving away things early. This clip here that I'm about to play was sent by a viewer of the show. I thought it was hilarious. Check it out.
Hey, we didn't have video. We didn't have audio on that though.
Oh no! Maybe you didn't hear it because
no, yeah, I don't know. I hope the audience heard that one. I hope that. But yeah, I don't know if that
yeah. I think the audience heard it, but I don't. You should be able to hear it.
Don't worry, guys. Don't worry about that. I'll just look at it. It's all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Now, so for people that are out there saying, King, you shouldn't be laughing at people's, downfall, especially somebody that's built like her. If y'all have been watching this show, y'all would have known that I've done the exact opposite where I fell down the steps. And I've played that clip multiple times. So don't say nothing about me laughing at that video.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, you got street cred on that one, so you could definitely go ahead and play that one because you've played that. You've fallen down too many times online, man, and everybody sees it, so we're good there.
Yes, sir. Now, Coach, we are in the hockey playoffs as well. There are several sports that are getting into their postseason stuff, and one of them is our favorite person, the Scottish Queen. But before we get into her, let's talk about scores.
So, we're getting into her. Oh, this is a different type of show, isn't it?
Giggity.
Oh.
So the Winnipeg Jets played against the Dallas Stars, and the Dallas Stars actually showed up today. So they are leading the series 2-1, but they spanked the Winnipeg Jets at home today, 5-2.
Yeah, and it was 2-2 going into the second period. They were tied up for a little bit when I got in, and then exploding for 3 goals over the last half of the game. I'm kind of glad that that series is going to be that series is basically going to be who's going to play Toronto in the Western Conference Finals. It's kind of weird to have Toronto in the Western Conference, but so be it. But that being said, I haven't really been paying attention as much to the Stars and Oilers one. That's been one of the series that I have not looked at. Like I said, I've been mainly looking at the Toronto series as well as the Eastern Conference with the Carolina Hurricanes, who I believe are tied at 1, and they should be playing this evening or tomorrow evening.
No, they played yesterday. So the Carolina Hurricanes
they did
blanked the Washington Capitals 4-0 to lead in that series 2-1.
2-1. Okay. So I missed the game yesterday. My apologies. I was doing some stuff.
Yep. And the Edmonton Oilers lost by 1 point against the Vegas Knights, but the Edmonton Oilers are up in that series 2-1 as well. Now, before we go into the Maple Leafs Florida Panthers series, people are talking about this one person who she went viral for a video that we featured about a month ago, and she's back. She is back. Let me make sure that I can queue up her video here. Oh no. Nope. We're about to make this work. So we're gonna do it live. I present to y'all Fiona Blake, the Scottish Maple Leafs super fan. Take a look.
Last time I was here, we lost. I was a wee bit excited, kind of wiggled my boobs a bit. Massive fucking tip! This time, the boobs were nowhere to be seen. The boys focused, and they fucking did it! The pheromones were fucking rocking. I rubbed them all over the guys next to me. They fucking loved it! The boys!
The boys. She says she rubbed the pheromones all over the guys next to her, and they freaking loved it.
She came all the way from Scotland to Canada to watch the Maple Leafs play. For the love of God, think about that for a minute. She traveled across the entire Atlantic Ocean from Scotland just so she can see the Maple Leafs play. That is not only a fan, but that is a true Scottish woman. Absolutely love her. You remind me of my nan. Maybe that's the reason why I am so enamored with you right now, Scottish Queen. But Scottish Queen, you are going to take the Toronto Maple Leafs to the promised land for the first time in 57 years. And it's all going to be because of one thing: her massive fucking tits. Oh, I'm sorry for the foul language there, but yeah, that was kind of needed out of that.
Man, and hey, maybe there's something to it because everybody's favorite, Vegas's favorite, to win everything in the postseason is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Right
Yes,
now, they are currently losing at the end of the first period to the Florida Panthers 1-0, but they do lead this series currently 2-1. I don't think that they want to get into a situation where they lose this game, game 4 in the second round of the East. So they'll find a way, play some defense, score some pucks, and win this one to go up 3-1.
I think, you know what, I'm going to say this: Toronto, they won the President's Cup, had the best regular season in all of the NHL. Even though several of the teams that have won the President's Cup haven't done well, like I said, I have been waiting now for, well, we've been talking about Toronto. Shoot, even Toronto was one of our questions for what's it called, for trivia night. And I think, look, something needs to be done. There has to be a feel good sports story. The NBA, Oklahoma City is going to end up getting their first ever professional sports championship. All right, no problem there. Baseball kind of sucking right now, but hey, it's the beginning of the season and Aaron Judge is having a good one. We need something pretty daggone good. The Knicks, I don't know whether or not they're going to do it, but Toronto, I'm pulling for you. You're going to do it, Scottish Queen. Beat the Panthers, get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and go ahead and do that. All right?
All right, y'all heard it here. Now let's flip sports over here and let's go to MLB. Look, it's still early in the MLB season. Has there been news? Absolutely. So let's kick this off. The day after a 21-0 loss, and y'all heard that right, 21-0, the Colorado Rockies fired their manager, Bud Black, which is an interesting name when you think about it. So look, yesterday,
That right now.
the Rockies are off to a Major League worst 7-33 start, even after they defeated the Padres 9-3 on Sunday to salvage a 1 game in the home series and snap an 8-game skid. But the kind of play that they've had, I mean, even I don't follow baseball that close, but when I caught this story and I kind of did some digging, I said, yeah, somebody's about to get fired, and no shit, 24 hours later, gone.
It was a Colorado started making the rounds of how bad and how historic it was going. It was a matter of time before Bud Black was fired. I also think the Chicago White Sox beat the record last year for the worst season ever in Major League Baseball history. I don't think Colorado's going to end up doing that or in that range. They're going to have over 100 losses this season. The key of it, though, is to tank and do it correctly. Crapshoot when it comes down to bad teams getting good draft picks and turning their teams around. Now, Colorado's in a decent enough market where if they do have one of those superstars, they can kind of keep him for the entirety of his career. It's not like he's going to end up going to Pittsburgh or Miami where they can't afford him and he'll end up losing to some other place, or they'll go to Tampa Bay and then, extract the most that they have out of him. So with the Rockies firing Bud Black, their head had to have rolled. But I will also mention that this general manager put the team together. Now, to last him throughout the season would be something that would be smart. But I also believe that at the end of the season, the GM is going to end up getting fired for putting together this terrible team that's off to a terrible start. But regardless of that, any decent player that is on the Rockies right now that's going to be batting, guarantee you by August 1st, they are not going to be on the Rockies. It's going to be full tank. Let this season be the wash. Even though you're going to have a great ballpark, your fan attendance is going to suffer, but you need to build for the future. And the Rockies, ever since Todd Helton left, have not had a have not had a decent future for their team. Lost a lot of the players, couldn't keep them, and then after they did, leave, they ended up not being the best. But that said, Colorado needs an identity. Let them go ahead and get that worst pick. Hopefully they get up pretty well, and then in a couple of years, hopefully the Rockies are back into the form that they have. And especially at that stadium, because at that stadium, a slap hitter can end up hitting it out of the park. But yeah, Colorado needs to. They made their first move. It's going to be the first of many, but it's going to be a long time to rebuild Colorado. So hope you all are getting happy with everything that you all have, because your team's going to suck for a bit.
Hey, and Coach, some sports history was believed to have been made today. So since it is Mother's Day, we are going to talk about this one. According to Elias Sports Bureau, in the Texas Rangers and Detroit game, brothers Josh Jung and Jace Jung faced off against each other in that series that's happening. They played earlier today, and Josh Jung delivered a Mother's Day gift to his mom after she walked the ball from the mound earlier today on Mother's Day. And Josh Jung slapped a 2-run homer in the 5th inning, in which his team won 6-1. And it is the first home run by a player facing his brother on Mother's Day since it first became a national holiday in 1914.
It's kind of nice to see that, and this is the first time in Major League Baseball history that a brother has hit a home run. Period, off of his pitcher of his brother. Is that correct, or is it just on Mother's Day?
Just on Mother's Day, and not that it was off of his brother, but they were just facing each other's on the same team because they both
and that's what I was trying to think of, because I don't remember a lot of siblings being like a pitcher and a position player.
Mm-hmm.
The Ripkins were both position players. Both Maddoxes were pitchers. All of the Boones were position players. DiMaggio's were all position players. There's not really been any other. The Molinas were all catchers. So usually you had players that were playing either the same position or they were playing in the infield or something like that. But it's all been position players or all been pitchers together, and the brothers have been that way. I have never seen a brother that was a pitcher and the other one that was a position player up to bat. So that was kind of interesting. That really got to me on that one. I want to find out if that's the case, because if that's the case, then that dude has done something, real special out there. Good for the mother. You know what? It probably reminded her of, the kids playing in the backyard, if they did have a backyard, or they're playing out on the park together or whatever. And, seeing them both play it kind of remind them of when they were kids, and that's always a good thing to do on Mother's Day. Remind the mothers that they're not young anymore, that, the kids are old and they don't need them anymore.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Mom.
Now, just before the first pitch, they did something that was heartfelt, pulled on the old heartstrings, in which the mother again came out to the mound, and then she did not throw from the mound to the pitcher, but she walked herself and placed the ball in the catcher's mitt before starter Reese Olson's first pitch. So great way to honor and celebrate the day in general. Great for that family to see, two brothers, two peers, teammates and all get out there before the the Texas Rangers gave a spanking to the Detroit team. So
Tigers.
thank you.
Not a problem, man.
I was like, hopefully I can catch it.
Oh, you're good, man. You're good.
Now, the last Major League Baseball news that we have for today is I'm going to share something that might be stupid. And shout out to who's that just joined in the chat. I just saw somebody say, "What up, King?" Keith.
Keith
What
Miller.
up, brother?
What's up, Keith?
What up? What up? What up? I made a bet, and it might be stupid. Hold on, I have to play this one more time.
Fuck Bobrovsky, he's a dick, the Chuck's a dick, everybody's a fucking dick. Last time I was here, we lost. I was a wee bit excited, kind of wiggled my boobs a bit. Massive fucking dick.
All right, I just had to stop there.
You just had to stop where she said massive fucking tits.
That is my absolute favorite part.
Oh, goodness.
So sticking to MLB, I made a bet. As you know, we have a new pope. And the new pope, Coach, you can correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not a Catholic.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He is the first American pope in history.
Yes. Okay. First North American pope. Let's get that one correct. So he is the first pope from the United States, which was something that going all the way back to the old Catholics, like my freaking grandfather and everybody. We were told from when we were kids there will never be an American pope because, we were too young of a nation. Our church hasn't matured enough. Think about it in this sense. The Roman Catholicism never really came over until the Pilgrims of the 1600s. By that time, Roman Catholicism not only was spread all across the rest of the known world, there was already freaking 5 wars called the Crusades over them. Okay. So that being said, everybody said that, the North America or, specifically the United States, because it's such a young country, there would never be a pope from there. But, Cardinal Robert, and I cannot remember how to pronounce his last name, broke the mold. And I do also believe his missionary work over in Peru and the bilingual way that he has it actually kind of helped him out. And I'm real glad. And like I said, it was something I never thought I'd see in my life. But yeah, an American pope, I'm all for it.
Yep. So Pope Francis passed away recently. He lived to be 88 and he died of stroke and a heart failure. And the Vatican came together, do what they do. I don't know their rituals and everything. And then 2 days later had announced Pope, is it Pope Leo?
Pope Leo, yes. Pope Leo the 14th.
Pope Leo the 14th. And some interesting news came out about him because he has attended some MLB games in the past.
Yes, he has.
Wearing Cubs. Nope. White Sox. He is said to be a White Sox fan, and people were trying to claim him as a Cubs fan. So when I heard that, I immediately went to a sports book and I dropped $200 to see what the odds would give me. Now, I want y'all to take a look at this. This is my actual bet. I'm going to put this up on the screen. I placed this bet yesterday, a little bit afternoon, in which I wagered $200 to win $100,000 that the Chicago White Sox would win the World Series.
Yeah.
Now, after I placed the bet, I went to go and look at the record and how the team's been going and realized that that was a stupid bet. But what if divine intervention comes down and blesses the team and they pull it off?
Hey, look, if that happens, honest to God, if that happens, look, the Pope needs to be put in for sainthood if that happens. He's not a freaking Pope anymore. He's going to be a saint. Look, God can perform miracles, but there are some miracles that just need to not be performed because even though God, all things can be accomplished through God, there are some things that can't be accomplished and need to be utilized as a life learning lesson, such as going through a very bad baseball season, regardless who the Pope is. I'm going to say this, though. I am going to say this. In the time Pope Francis was the Pope, if I'm correct, I believe they had a World Cup over in Brazil where he's from. Or no, he's from. I can't remember what it was, but there was one of the sports teams won one of the world stage events, and the Pope was from that. I'll figure it whichever one out it was, but yeah, the Pope was. The Pope didn't play any. Doesn't play favorites when it comes down to sports. Okay, but that being said, yeah, the Pope was there in, I think it was either game 1 or game 2 of the 2005 World Series between the White Sox and the Houston Astros. And he was there for the end of the game. And if I'm correct, Fox cut to him on the stands, not even knowing that it's going to be 20 years later, he's going to be the freaking Pope.
Yep, he was in Chicago White Sox gear. He was in a jersey.
Yeah.
White Sox jersey.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, look, okay. So going back to high school days, I did go to a Catholic high school. And there was church beforehand. So I thought in 1996 it would be a great idea that in the month of October, I would pray at church for the Yankees to win the World Series. Let me just say this. When the Yankees won the World Series in 96, I went to church every freaking morning before class just so that I can pray that the Yankees win the World Series in 97. It didn't happen, but it's okay. But at that point, I believed there was a God, and that's when I knew there was one. Because the moment that it happened, I was like, oh yeah.
Nice.
Here it is. Here's the guy who's going to curse left, right, do whatever, and not be the perfect example. But man, I sure as heck believe in God because he answered those prayers that year. And look, if to position leading the Catholic Church. By the way, I will get to that in a minute. I want to bring something up. This is non-sports related. But if he does, get that, and it does happen, I'm not going to say intervention. It would be divine intervention in this year because you would end up winning $100,000. By the way, of that, maybe just 100, if you don't mind me asking. Just 100 if you do that because I want to buy me a new pair of Jordans. All right.
I got you.
But
y'all heard it here live.
But that being said, it would take the intervention for those White Sox to ever win the World Series this year. Maybe you can pray hard enough that in a couple of years that the White Sox win the World Series. I mean, they did set the worst, they're going to get the number 1 pick this year. Hopefully they that turns around the franchise, but I'm not holding my breath, and I'm hopefully you'll praise. Now, this is a little bit of action, and I'm about this, but Keith Miller, I don't know if she's single, and if she is, shoot your shot, player. Real quick, this is something that I had from I don't know why Brent Waters buying water, or why Brent Roberts is buying water from the PX, but so the Pope, there's a lot of people that do not understand the role of the Pope. A lot of people believe that he talks directly to God for the Roman Catholic Church and that he is like the next person up from God, etc., etc. He is in charge of the Vatican, which is the part of the Roman Catholic Church. It's now considered a nation state. So he runs that as the de facto leader of the Vatican. He is also the one in charge of the Roman Catholic Church. It's not that he is that close to God. It's that his direction and everything that he has, we'll call it as it is. He is the CEO. He is the base commander, and he is the corps commander. Let's put it that way. If they didn't have the garrison command, That's exactly what the Pope is. The Pope is not a figurehead that you have to pray to in order to get to God. He is the guiding example for the Roman Catholic Church to, direct God's word to where it was going to be. Pope Francis was one of the ones people, and in his pontificate, when he became the Pope, his thing was build bridges, not walls, and that was in direct correlation to Mr. Trump. But his role was not to, say, hey, this is God's word. His role was to guide the church to God's word, not to interpret it and make it his word, and this is what God is telling me. A lot of confusion from people who do not understand Roman Catholicism, because some people think that when we pray for people, let's pray for the Pope, let's pray for the cardinals, the bishops, etc. That's the same way that we're saying, hey, we're going to pray for you, pastor, that you're doing, that type of job. We're going to pray for these people. We're going to pray to God in the same manner that everybody at the church prays to God. It's just in a different form. That's all that it is. So I'm sorry this went off the sports topic, and I'm sorry that we lost listeners on, for people out there, but I had to put this up because I saw a lot of people when the Pope was elected. A lot of people were saying he's not the king. Jesus is the only king. Yeah, he's going to tell you the same thing too, that Jesus is the king and that his position is temporary. It is not anything it's of this world, not of the other world. Okay, so there really shouldn't be, I'm real happy that there's an American Pope. I'm not a Roman Catholic anymore. I'm still a Christian, still believe in God, still believe in Jesus, still believe in the Holy Spirit. I just don't go to that church anymore. That's it.
I've got a question.
That church doesn't have anything to do with, and that church doesn't say anything that we have to pray to him in order to get through God. So sorry, rant over on that. But yeah, go ahead, buddy.
So a question for you, because I was curious. I just hadn't looked it up yet. Why do they go by like certain like Leos and Francises and other names like that?
Okay, so they take the names from the apostles and from former popes and that's how they do those names. They also name them after saints and everything. In fact, so while we were growing up, Pope John Paul II was always, was like the Pope forever. Everybody remembered him. He took the name of the Apostle John and the Apostle Paul. So he had both of them, called himself John Paul. His name was like Karol Wojciechowski or something Polish like that. So they take those names as titles. They, and then that's how they do that. It's just something that's been happening from when Peter built the church. God, yeah, I know we're going way, way back, but this is from when Peter, you're the rock I'm going to build my church on. That is the line of succession from when they've had that, and that's how they've kind of done that from the time Jesus walked on this earth, and and then resurrected all the way up until now.
I never knew, man. I always thought that they were like direct descendants, and they selected from like direct descendants, and that's how they got their names. And then I learned that no, they had like regular names like Michael Smith, but then so yeah.
Yeah. And Keith, real quick, just to answer your question, that is agreed with that one, that it should have nothing to do with it. But I will mention this. He has to do with everybody's faith. And that, regardless of whatever position you have, that in and of itself goes through that entire kingdom, because everybody has a faith, including agnostics and atheists. Funny thing is that agnostics and atheists actually know more about Christianity than most people do. So with that being said, there is that's how that goes from that. And I do agree that his job with what he does has nothing to do with it. His job is to save everybody's faith, regardless of what they're doing. He can even do that. Now I'm going to say this right now. I wish that the popes would go up to like North Korea, or they'd go to Turkmenistan or Eritrea, or Myanmar or Afghanistan. I mean, God forbid, places like that. That's where I think that, those types of leaders right there kind of could use that word, but those types of physical things. We're just looking at it in the American sense because we are here in America. Geez, man, I am losing so many people well for this, and I'm sorry about going on to religion, but I do want to. Yeah, let's talk about sports right now. Sorry about that.
You're good, man. So bringing it back to sports, I do want to take a look at some of the comments. Keith said that missed me a game night. Yeah, man, my daughter was at prom this past Friday, and it was her last prom. So I missed FTX. I saw y'all playing Risk, and I was like, y'all, to everybody out there, do not crucify me for this. I've never played Risk. I want
Same.
to play it.
Same.
I want to play it, but I've never been around other people that have played it, and whenever they have played it, for some reason I was never around. So I've never played it. I would have loved to have been there and played Risk with y'all. I caught some of the live stream from Friday's FTX, and it looked like a fun time. I just missed it. And
Hey,
I've never
I've never played Risk either. I don't play those MMO RPGs and the role playing games and stuff. I just like regular action. So, yeah,
Nice.
you're not alone, buddy.
Let's see. David Cunningham said, I think that players in the NBA get too many days off for their postseason in the playoffs, and that it all comes down to network ratings. You know,
That's been something for 20 years that the NBA has been putting on, and I agree with Keith's assessment.
that was from David Cunningham, but
Or David. No, I'm sorry, David. My apologies.
but coach, let me ask you this, right?
Yeah.
Besides hockey, and
Okay.
football is every 7 days or so.
Yeah.
When you get to the playoffs, I mean, these athletes are putting their bodies out there to get wrecked for a paycheck for them and entertainment for everybody else. I think that the time that they have in the NBA playoffs is kind of the right amount of time. Like there's not many LeBrons out there playing until they're 40, playing at a high level every couple of days or so.
Yeah.
I think that
Agreed.
the NBA does have the right amount of time that they give between, especially when you're looking at the travel time that also goes between two different places as well. Now, if they were to have it at a centralized place, like when they did it in the bubble year,
Oh.
that's a different story. I'd say you could tighten up the schedule at that point, but
Yeah.
but
And that's the funny thing when you ask how many championships have LeBron James won? Everybody can remember three. They can never remember that fourth.
I do because I'm a LeBron James homer.
Oh.
Again, GOAT James.
Oh dear God! All right, you know what? Bump this. Memorial Day. We're in Memorial Day. I know it's a racing for next week, and look, I'll be watching the Coca-Cola 600 throughout the entire freaking show. But you know what? We are going to we're going to settle this fucking debate. It's a slow day on for sports next Sunday. We're going to settle this debate. MJ
Ooh.
MJ versus LeBron, greatest of all time.
Let's do
I'm
it.
talking, and look, you take LeBron, I'll take MJ. The entire fucking show is going to be this one.
Deal.
Period.
Deal.
All right.
Deal. You got it. You got it.
Hell yeah.
We need y'all to tune in for that one. So
MJ versus LeBron. And I might even, you know what? I might even no. You know what I said I might even do. I might even come on air. I might even get a freaking webcam.
So, let's stick to basketball
basketball.
here. Moving to basketball. Earlier today, the OKC Thunder played against the Denver Nuggets, in which OKC prevailed 92-87, and that series is tied 2-2. Now, in that series, and this is what's hilarious, that was a low-scoring total. Let me see if I can find the Vegas line for it real quick. I can't find it to prove a point. I'm not liking this. Okay, it was a 227.5 total, but that was definitely well under that. I'm not liking the fact that you get through the regular season and it's offense. It is threes, it is light and stuff. lighting the points up, and then you get to the playoffs, and people are a lot less riskier going into the playoffs than they are during the regular season. To me, it makes the game more boring.
Yeah. Okay. Agreed with you. The old adage of defense wins championships is
That's true.
still, still the way. And by the way, and oh, then never mind. I'll save that. I'll save that fact for next week. But
Mm-mm.
looking at and I'm looking at that game and looking at the box scores right now. Look, as far as the way people are playing and how that goes, this seems to be the outlier. Okay, let's look at the other games. Every other game they've scored over 100 points. This game seems to be an outlier. Now, I'm going to say this regarding the pacing of this. Every game has always had an off day on this. So they should be a little bit rested, but this is also coming to the part right now where we have 87. We're almost on game 90 right now for most of these people. Okay, that's 90 games in just this season. Legs are getting a little bit sore. Energy level is not as high as it was during the season or at the beginning of the season. Offense takes some effort, defense takes determination. The effort might not be there because physically they are not at their best. They're just at game 90s of this season. So the defense and the effort and the determination are always going to shine off of that part when people's legs are not as fresh underneath them. I'm looking at this one right now, and I think both teams just kind of had an off night. We're going to be
Nobody
they're
shot
going to be
well.
yeah, and I'm looking at it right now. Jokic only had 27. SGA only had 25.
8 of 19.
Yeah, and they just looked like they didn't have their legs underneath them, and I think that I don't know. Yes, the NBA does have a kind of a thing where it does get a little bit worse towards the season, but it's because how long the seasons are and trying to get everything up for the playoffs is a little bit harder for it. But to go to David's point, and I'm not going to say that I agree that they don't have enough rest. I think that they do have. I think they've actually gotten plenty of rest. I don't think they have too much. But he does have a point, and this is going way back 20, 25 or so years, back when David Stern was the commissioner of the NBA. I don't remember what year it was, but I remember him being interviewed on the Dan Patrick Show. And one of the questions was, what is going on with the scheduling of all of these playoff games? And the reason why there was issues with the scheduling of the playoff games, one year there was a 6-day separation between game 2 and game 3 of something with Philadelphia. And it all had to do with the TV time. Yes, all of these games right now are being broadcast so that they can maximize TV profits. I've never watched a game on NBA TV, and I know that the NBA would not like to relegate any of the playoff games onto NBA TV. They want them on their partners, whether it be ESPN, TNT, ABC. Those are the ones who are following them. They want those games on those channels. They don't want to relegate playoff games to NBA TV. So you have to find a simple way to get everybody through. And obviously on the weekends, you could play 4 games. You could do a 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and a late 10 o'clock game. You can have 4 games on every Friday. You can have 4 games on a Saturday and 4 games on a Sunday, and you'll be able to, on your first round, you'll be okay. But the NBA is still a business. The NBA has to broadcast its games to the widest audience to create the most revenue that they can. Every league does this. NHL does this. Okay, not every league because baseball sucks. But the NFL does this. The NHL tries to do this outside of their regional sports network, and the NBA needs to do this. those ones with that long of a season, the NHL and the NBA, they need to have that so that they can recoup what's being done on those regions.
Uh-oh. Coach. All right. Well, we lost Coach. Let me make sure that I'm still good. So I'm still good on my side. So, Coach, if you can hear me, we can't hear you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep talking until we can turn around and hear Coach. So, staying over into the NBA playoffs, the other game that's being played today and it's happening right now, the Indiana Pacers are giving the Cleveland Cavaliers the business. This is game 4 of the East semifinals, in which the Pacers in game 1 and game 2 came out and just dominated. But boy, I ain't gonna say dominated, but they won both games as the away team. To take game 1 and 2, and then in game 3, Cleveland ended up winning that game on the road in Indiana, 126 to 104. But looking at the game right now, Cleveland is only shooting 22% from the field, 23% from 3-point. They are hitting their free throws, going 16 of 18, but they're just not doing enough, as the Pacers are red hot, going 21 of 37 from the field, 8 of 14 from 3-point, and 6 of 6 from free throws. Currently, right now, with 5:45 remaining in the second quarter, the Pacers are winning 56 to 32. And we do have Coach back, but let me see if the audience can hear you. Coach, say something. Yep. Nope, they can't hear you, so let me fix this real quick. All right, let's get in here. Let's do that. Let's hit paste. All right, now say something.
Nope, I still don't have the red on there.
You are.
Oh, I'm up. Okay,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that. My daggone headphone got disconnected. That's what happened.
Okay.
I got a, USB extender so that when I move around, I'm able to move around a little bit more. And the USB, my headphones unplugged out of the USB extender. So I'm actually, you know what? I'm gonna. I don't know. Fuck it. Who cares? Well, all right. So we were talking about the rest and everything like that with that, and I know you just gave the stats for everybody, but the NBA has to recoup all of the money that they're making, and I don't blame the NBA for trying to make as many games available on the broadcast networks instead of their own channel that nobody watches, so that this way they can actually, play the game, get their money, play the games, and do that. I don't fault them for that at all. The one thing I do fault, though, and that is more of a coach thing, is that load management. That's all I'm going to say. It's helped LeBron go all the way up until 42. That's great. But how many times have people gone to go see a superstar and they're sitting on the bench with load management games?
Mm-hmm. That's been happening a lot more this year. You want to say it, but it's science, Coach.
Yeah, you know what else is science, and it's not doing anything good? It's all the stuff with baseball, with the frickin' with the launch angles and all that other crap, and the rotating of the pitchers. Yeah, and look how shitty baseball is doing right now. So if you really want your players to playing not at their best, but you're trying to load them so that they can be ready for playoffs and et cetera, and kind of screw over the fans, you eat the same fate that baseball has. Baseball's been trying to play catch up ever since. Actually, I'm going to say ever since about the mid 2000s, they've been trying to play catch up with with everybody, and they haven't been able to. Oh my God! Who put 5X on there? William White. William White. What's the X? You got one guess. What's the X? Oh wow, I didn't even know that. I have the what's it called? I have the captions up on the Facebook feed, and I didn't realize that my captions are coming up on. Nice. So yes, what the X on that number? You get the X correct, you might have yourself 4 tickets to the NASCAR All-Star race.
So, in case y'all are wondering what he's talking about and you're just getting here, type a number between 1 and 100. If you get the number that Coach has, Coach is going to give away 4 tickets to the NASCAR All Star Weight that is this coming weekend. Um, and let's acknowledge some additional people that we have. We have Kaz in the building, and we got my main man, the Greek freak himself, Pete Lyricits.
I thought we were going to have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Daggone it. You got Pete instead? Pete's a good guy. Good for him. Hey, Pete.
That's my
Nice
guy.
to see you back, man.
What up, Pete? Coach, if you
Holy crap. Holy crap. All right, guess what? Those captions, they actually spelled out whatever, the Greek freak's name. They spelled it correctly.
Nice. So there was a punch that was thrown in the Cleveland Pacers game in which Mathurin, who I almost played for Daily Fantasy Sports, got ejected. So a Benedict Mathurin, who was out there for a total of 1 minute, is out in that game. He's a bench player for the Pacers. Now, I wouldn't say a pivotal bench player, but it has led to former New York player Obi Toppin with 13 minutes going 6 of 10. So he decided that he's going to get his shine in off the bench, and he's what's helping the Pacers propel themselves over the Cleveland Cavaliers at the moment.
Obi was a trick-or-treat player. He did great sometimes, and then there was other nights you were questioning what he was doing when he was on the Knicks. So.
Right. He had flashes, man. He had flashes where you were thinking he could have been the next all-star, and just, I don't know, maybe he needed to leave New York to show his potential.
There's a lot of people that can't handle New York, myself included.
Now, moving over to some of the other games, let's save the Minnesota Golden State for last. Boston, New York. I don't think anybody saw the Knicks, outside of a Knicks fan, leading this series going into game 4, in which they're up 2-1 over the Boston Celtics. Now, what Boston has been doing, and everybody, you don't have to know sports to see this. You live by the 3, you die by the 3. And the Boston Celtics have been just horrendous behind the 3-point line. And even with them having a lead and still not hitting the threes, they didn't ever adjust, and New York took advantage of it, coming down 20 points in 2 separate games to beat the Boston Celtics. Now, Coach, you are our Knicks guy. You called some things right before the playoffs, and you might be a prophet, man. So tell me what you think about that series so far.
So, yes, live by the 3, die by the 3. It is happening, and it will, like I said, during the playoffs, rear its ugly head. Steph Curry is the exception, not the rule. And everybody is trying to form, and like I said, the NBA went all the way back out to the 3-pointer. Shooting skills need to be improved by everybody, and if the shooting is not there, there's 2 reasons for it. It has nothing to do with the skill. It has to do with the legs. It has to do with the pace of the game and how tired somebody is. You're rarely going to see somebody light up the NBA Finals or in the playoffs with 3-point shots, with the rare exceptions of, Steph or Clay or even MJ, going all the way. Never mind. I'll bring that up next week. But you've never, they are the exceptions to it. I'm going to say that Boston's shooting was atrocious for those 2. The Knicks' shooting was also atrocious, but the Knicks' determination is what got them back at the game 2. If you looked at game 3 over in Boston, man, Celtics hit 20 more threes, blew the Knicks out of the water. It looked like it was back to the regular season with the way that they went over in game 3 at the Garden. I still believe in the Knicks. I still believe that they are going to find an answer again, putting that pressure defense, make the Celtics shoot terribly from beyond the arc, catch the rebounds, get them whichever way it goes, and then bring it down to the court. Look, as much as I love Carl Anthony Towns, and trust me, he is a hell of a lot better than Julius Randle, the heart of that team is always going to be Jalen Brunson. And this team's going to go as far as Jalen Brunson can bring them. Jalen Brunson right now is not shooting that great, but he needs to be that floor general, especially in game 4. Get it to the guys who are open, get the Celtics up, get the Celtics down 3-1. You may lose game 5 at the Garden. No problem there. You have them 3-2. Oh, I'm sorry. Not at the Boston Garden. What the hell's the name of that place now? It used to be the Fleet Center. Whatever the frickin' and I'm calling it the Boston Garden because that was the place. You might lose over in Boston in game 5. No problem. But you, on game 6 with a 3-2 lead at the Garden, you can take it home and get to the Eastern Conference Finals and get past the second round.
It's just the Garden, the TD Garden.
The TD Garden. Okay, so you got 2 gardens. You got MSG, and that is the Garden. The period. That's the Garden. TD Garden used to be Boston Garden, used to be the Fleet Center. Look, TD Garden and Boston Garden, and Boston Garden, you guys are the second Garden. You've always been the second Garden. Madison Square Garden, MSG is the Garden. Period. End of statement.
All right. Now, Coach, looking at the other game here, the number 6 seed versus the number 7 seed. They play tomorrow for the Western Semifinals Game 4, in which the Minnesota Timberwolves are they're playing against Golden State at home again. Steph Curry went down in Game 1, in which the Warriors won 99-88, and he won that game. He got injured in that game early too. He got injured 13 minutes in, scoring 13 points in 13 minutes, mind you. And the Timberwolves just had an off shooting night because in Game 2 and Game 3, the Warriors put up their average that they have. They went 99 in Game 1, 93 in Game 2, and 97 in Game 3. Right? So they're still really on average for what they've been showing in the postseason so far. But Minnesota, while only scoring 88 in Game 1, put up 117 in Game 2 and 102 in Game 3. And I don't see anybody on that Warriors team that can step up besides Jimmy Butler and help that team win. When Curry
I don't even think
down,
go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I'm almost done. When Curry went down,
No, you're good.
I looked at that roster. Draymond Green ain't that dude. He's proven he's not that guy already. When they had KD and Steph and Clay and everybody was out and it was just Draymond, and then all of a sudden he gets hurt too when Mr. Triple Single couldn't carry the team even though he thinks he's this, that, and the third. That roster is gone. The earliest Steph Curry is slated to be projected to come back will be around Game 6. I don't think that they're going to survive by then.
Yeah. All right. And we talked about this right before, and I kind of made a little bit of a bold prediction regarding the what's it called? I made a little bold prediction regarding the Golden State Warriors. I think right now we are seeing the end of that dynasty. Draymond is always has been Steph's guy. It's never been he's been, like Clay and all that. No. Draymond and freaking, call it this way. It's like little brother, big brother. Draymond's not gonna let anybody fuck around with Steph, okay? But Draymond without Steph is not gonna be effective at all. Jimmy Butler's a prima donna. Forced himself out of Miami, and yeah, look, while they're rebuilding and they're trying to get some stuff out of there, Jimmy Butler was more of a headache than he was an asset. And once you get to that part where you're more of a headache than you are an asset, then you don't need to be needed. Ask James Harden. How the hell's he doing over there in Clipperland right now? Steph Curry is the only option on that team. Steph Curry right now is going into his 15th year in the league. He's in mid-30s right now. He just got his injury. They haven't been back to they haven't had any success since 2022 or 23, right? That's when they won the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So past 2 years haven't been that great. You get Jimmy Butler to try to salvage it, nothing comes of it. I'm sorry to say this, but we are seeing the end. They're going to be gone this round. Look, and I'm saying this with the Minnesota team with Julius Randle on it, who does some stupid things like he does with the Knicks almost every, but now he does it in Minnesota, so nobody notices. But that being said, he has Minnesota has looked like a good team all season, and they don't have anybody, even Draymond, who can match them in the middle as well as on the outside with their big men. Steph being their big key is gone. There goes that deep threat that Steph always brings from regardless. And now it gets closer to the rim. You don't have that far of a court anymore without Steph there because you're picking up D at like half court with Steph, when he's hitting from 30. You're not going to be picking up the D when, you're getting Jimmy Butler from 25 feet from the basket. You are the Minnesota's going to end up having a heck of a lot better time, and they're going to end up going against Oklahoma City in the Western Conference Finals. But that being said, man, I'm not going to say I feel bad about Golden State's dynasty leaving because it's now been 10 years. 2015 they won their first championship. 17, 18 went all the way to 22. They've had a phenomenal run. There hasn't been a run of this sustainment, and I'm saying this with in that there hasn't been a run of this sustainment with these little without that many little dips since Magic Johnson in the 80s. You see, I even skipped over MJ in the 90s, and I'm not even going to mention Kobe in the 2000s because there were some dips. That he won, he might have scored 81 in a game, but that season wasn't the greatest season on the face of the earth. They were terrible after they lost Shaq. There's been dips all going through all of them. The only real sustained time periods that there wasn't any dips was when the Celtics and the Lakers were playing. And the Lakers did it for the entire. If you think about it, they did it from the entire time that Magic was there until he retired, from 79-80 all the way up to 91-92. Period of 13 years. In the period of 10 years that Steph Curry has had, or shoot, even if we go 7 or so years, they have consistently been one of the best teams, if not in the West, in all of the NBA. It is great that they're still playing, but we are now seeing the end of the Golden State Warriors dynasty.
Ooh, the end of the Golden State Warriors dynasty. Yes, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. And I don't believe that Kerr is going to be there that long. I think he's going to see it, and Curry's his guy. Once Curry's done, Curry's done.
See, I say something a little bit different regarding Kerr. And the only reason why I say Kerr stays on there is because of his coaching, not really. Well, I'm going to say coaching acumen, the examples that he's had of the coaches. Even though he was in Cleveland, his second coach was Phil Jackson. His next coach was Greg Popovich. Both of them extended periods of time. Both of them, even after their superstars had left, were continuing to coach. Um, well, actually, take that back because Phil retired with Kobe still playing and then took over the Knicks after that. But there was ways that after the superstar was going, they were still playing. They were still coaching. I don't think Kerr's going to be gone, like gone, as in he's never going to coach again. I think he's going to have a couple more years, finish out the contract in Golden State. If things don't work out with Jimmy Butler, which it's looking like it's not because it's Jimmy Butler, then I think Kerr finds another situation where he is able to bring a team to a championship caliber, just the same way that Phil did. If you think about this, and this is serious, like nobody really thinks about this in the matter of Steve Kerr, and I sure as hell don't because I still see him as the 3-point specialist from those Bulls teams in the '90s. Steve Kerr is a 4-time NBA championship winning coach. Do you know how many there are in the NBA history of 4 times?
2.
4.
Okay.
Okay, Phil. No, 5. I take that back. 5. You have Phil. You have Red Auerbach.
I didn't
You
think
have
about him.
Popovich.
Yeah, Phil
No,
and
yeah.
Pop were the two I was thinking about.
Oh, yeah. But you know who else we're missing out on here too from the 4?
Mm-mm.
So we got Phil, Pop, Red Auerbach, and daggone, and Pat Riley. So there's your champion, and next on that list, Steve Kerr. There are 4 Hall of Fame coaches, and I'll be damned, Steve Kerr. Yeah, look, he's not a lot of people think of him in that sense, but Steve Kerr is now one of the greatest coaches in NBA history. Can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true. He will get an offer to a team that he can bring to a championship. That's the pedigree he's got.
Hmm.
It's not gonna. It's not gonna be. He's gonna go to. He's not gonna go to like Brooklyn, and revitalize his entire. That entire thing. He's gonna go to some place that's gonna be ready made. That's gonna win a championship. It, Orlando Magic. I like Paolo Banchero. Think he's a great player. I don't think they've got enough pieces up there for him to be able to do that, but they are a shit season away from having to see that. And once you see that part, like when Phil did this in 2000, Kobe and Shaq were on that team. You had Kurt Rambis, and I think Del team was ready made to win a championship with Phil. When Steve Kerr steps away from Golden State, he is going to find that next team, that ready-made team for a champion. Steve Kerr is still doing a great job over in, Steve Kerr is still doing a great job. We'll just wait until Steph kind of, steps away and retires, and I think that's when we'll see.
Right. Now, do you know what? That's some good analysis, Coach. It's like you do this or something. I like that. You like that? You like that? You like that?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I love that Kirk Cousins video. You like that? Question in the chat. David Cunningham said, "Do you guys think that the NFL and the Browns ownership changed Shedeur Sanders' jersey from number 2 to number 12 to slow down his jersey sales, especially since he has his own merchandise?" I don't think that the ownership did that for that. I think that there may be an agreement that comes between the current owner of number 2 and Sanders if Sanders makes the roster. Now, typically, when you have somebody that is a first round draft pick, right, and they come on to a team, unless they come onto a team with the guy that is already wearing the number that that first round pick is associated with, they'll have it to where either they some type of agreement is made so that the new guy, the rookie, the next man up, the QB1, so to speak, will be able to get that number, unless that number is if that number is currently on a roster, that's how they make that work. Now, the person who has number 2 currently is a wide receiver about a last name of Carter. Nobody's ever heard of him. I don't. If Sanders makes the team, which I don't see Cleveland cutting him. I think that they go with all the young guys, bringing all the new blood in. I don't think that they're not even worried about trying to be competitive this year. Let these young bucks get experience, whether it's Gabriel, whether it's Sanders, whether it's Watson, whoever is their starting quarterback coming up.
That's what I wanted to ask. How much
That's
longer
like 3 or
does
4
the shot?
years.
Oh, does he? I thought it was like only
No,
one.
he was he just finished
No.
the second year of
Ooh.
that 5-year massive contract that he signed with him. Yep.
Oh God, that's it.
So yeah, it's like, what is Cleveland doing? Why did they do what they did? I don't know, but I don't think that they did it because of that. Now, is it gonna suck as a brand thing for Sanders? Absolutely. I mean, he had his whole website 12 something
Oh,
another
yeah.
what 2 legendary or something like that. Something ridiculous. Um and maybe he adjusts it and he puts the 1 in front of it and he calls it, instead of 2 legendary, it's 12 legendary. I think that's an easy thing. I think if they hadn't trademarked it yet, if somebody knows how to go in there and file for a trademark, they better do that shit real quick. But I don't think that it was done intentional. I think that they gave him the number that was available. However, once the season starts, him and the current number 2 might work out an agreement. And if he's QB1, which I doubt it, he's gonna stay as number 12.
All right. There's no conspiracy that they made him change that, whatever it is. What I will say is the reason why they changed it doesn't matter. It doesn't freaking matter. Okay? The freaking Shador Sanders is going to flame out admirably. He's doing all of the right things, but there is a reason why the circus that's surrounding him, you might have been better off freaking drafting the Cadaver Twins or whatever the hell their names are into right now. Let him take you over as one of the Cadaver kids. Let him try to say, hey, I'm great. Be nice to everybody in there. Look, they're going to be about whatever the hell branding that they have. This kid is not going to be special. You can print that. You can bring anything up. He was not even going to be worth the first round for Cleveland's sake. I hope they keep him on the bench for the entire year and say, you are not playing. Period. Start even that Gabriel kid. If you want to keep Shador Sanders on that team, you make him quarterback number 3. In fact, fuck that. Old ass is on there and he's still freaking able to play quarterback somehow. Keep Joe Flacco on that team. And I teach the quarter teams. This guy wants to be in the NFL so bad. Put him as, put him as a gunner on the special teams so that he could see some. Keep him on the bench. Do not put him under center. I would actually prefer that they kept that Gabriel kid. Mainly because I think that kid's maybe 5 foot taller. But keep that Gabriel kid. Develop the quarterbacks. And if one of them goes down, throw Gabriel in. Because, Gabriel knows the game probably better than Shador. And you're not going to have as many fucking problems. I'm not talking about trying to play Shador. Keep him on there. And on top of that, too, they made their bed. They drafted him. You're also in the NFL behind the New York Jets. You invited this entire clown show in for this by draft ridiculousness. There was ridiculousness when Tim Tebow went to New York, and it was always ridiculous. And if you remember, that season was also the year that they went shit. The Browns created this mess. They need to deal with this mess better, but they also need to put that kid to develop as a quarterback this season by playing on the field. I've been an advocate for this. Draft the quarterback. let him have a much better freaking, you're going to have a much better result. Pat Mahomes and daggone, what's his name, and Eli Manning are the last two real examples that are, and here's another one. Here's another great one right here. Here's a third one who did not start, played sparing. He got the speed of the NFL. The entire offense
I know who it's going to be.
around.
So let's say the name at the same time. On, it'll be 1, 2, 3, and then say the name. All right? 1, 2, 3. Jordan Love.
All right. Justin Fields, Jordan Love. Oh,
I mean,
has he won anything? No. He sat behind Aaron Rodgers. Great. He's at Easton Fields. Developed. They changed the entire offense around Justin Fields. But Justin Fields wasn't thrown into a Kilson or Sam Darnold situation, fuckers. He wasn't thrown into a situation that, like, and look, as look at Anthony Richardson up in Indianapolis, and I thought Richardson was going to be the better quarterback. We all thought the same thing about the unmissable Jacksonville, and I remember how pissed off I was that the Jets won a game that they got the number 2 pick and drafted fucking. And you know what happened? Trevor has not been the stellar quarterback that he was. He had a great second season, but as soon as you throw him in there, developed. Justin Fields developed. Eli Manning developed. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. There's also another quarterback that developed a year on year 2 by a fluke. Thank you, fucking Mo Lewis. And ended up being the greatest of all time. I wonder who that might be. Of the last 7 Super Bowl champions. And each of them had a year to develop underneath a head coach with a quarterback in front of them so that they could learn the speed of the game. And it worked well. You want that with Shedeur. You do not play him as quarterback for one fucking down this season. You teach him that humility, and he have a fucking weapon. In a year's time now, I want to see if that happens. Because if not, it might be another sad, tragic.
All right.
But if they do it, we might have something.
Now, David Cunningham kicked off this question talking about merchandise. So I'm going to have the most horrible transition ever. Speaking of merchandise, be sure to check out ShopArmyWTFMoments.com. That is ShopArmyWTFMoments.com for all of your WTF Moments gear where swag meets the front line. That was horrible and cheesy, but I found a way to put it in there. Let's go into the comments here. Shout out to Richard Bronco. Said came in and said it looks like May 30th is not going to happen for you. Why not? Don't just say that and don't say why. I'd like to understand why not, Richard. If you don't feel like saying it now, shoot me a message.
That's a Friday night.
Or my DM, Richard, and I'd like to know why if you don't mind sharing that. And have a great night. But hey, man, I appreciate you popping in, dropping that nugget, and then bouncing, man. It's always good to see you, Richard. See, David Cunningham said, Coach, are you saying Shedeur would be another Ryan Leaf or Jamarcus Russell?
No, the number 144.
Yeah, and I mean, he's not the physical
No,
specimen those
no,
guys were in the 80s. And
Jamar,
Jamarcus Russell were like 6'5", 6'6", big, yeah, big boys with a rocket
yeah.
arm. Shedeur Sanders, look, I'm not saying he can't play. I'm just saying he's not going to be my starter if I'm building a team to win games. I don't see his talent level that great. I think he's a pro level quarterback, yes. But a starter that's going to win you games, I don't see it.
Nah, I don't see it. I mean, I don't see it now. Doesn't mean he can't develop into it with the way Cleveland operates.
No doubt. Yep. Keith said she'd be getting their order in soon. Hey, I placed the order myself, so I've got stuff coming in too. Going forward, I'm going to either be wearing WTF merch or my own stuff. Right now, I just got a plain tee because I came in late and didn't have time to change. But yeah, so I appreciate y'all that do support. Thank you. David Cunningham said, I got my King swag. Yeah, hey, thanks for that.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Did I give you? I'll reach you offline. I'll tell you where to. Yeah. You can send it to him.
I think you did, but something happened. I don't know what the hell happened to that message. I don't even. Dave, yeah, you got a shirt.
Dave, you have something else from Coach that is on the way. Now, I'm going to announce this one more time, and then, yes.
Oh, hey. Real quick, a happy Mother's Day shout out to Olivia Manning, because without her, Tom Brady would have 12 rings.
You know what? Next week for the GOAT debate, I'm gonna have my soundboard ready. So I'm gonna have one up on you, Coach, and then I'm bringing the soundboard as well as the stats. All right. So again, for the next 5 minutes or so, type in a number between 1 and 100 if you haven't done it already. And if you get the number that Coach has, Coach is going to give away 4 tickets to next weekend's NASCAR All-Star. I'm sorry, this week. You know I'm from Alabama.
Alabama. Technically, we are still in this weekend. No, technically,
You know I'm from Alabama. To me,
we have 3 more fucking hours on this
weekend. The NASCAR All-Star race is going down, and Coach has 4 tickets that he is giving away. If we don't get anybody to catch it live, Coach, are you okay with announcing it on the main pages?
This is what I'll do. Actually, what I'm gonna do is somebody gets is really close and he didn't freaking answer it on the back. But yeah, so that being said, all right, Keith, you were close to it, but what I will say is this is
okay.
I'll talk something over with Ice. See if we can make tie it to. I want to tie it to one of our pages, like you go to first, somebody who buys and something like that. Yeah. Somebody who does it and shows it.
Y'all will figure it out. Now, David, we are about to end the show.
We'll figure it out.
Since you are on, I would love to get your end show comment, your end show statement, my man. So while David drafts that up, I got one more video. This was sent to me live, and I kind of feel bad about doing this. So, Coach, I need you to fill air for about 2 minutes while I set this next clip up.
Oh, no, you're fine. So, ladies and gentlemen, just want to let everybody know that WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments, we come to you live 7 nights a week across Facebook, YouTube, and X. Tune in tomorrow for the Monday edition with Ice and Mad Mike. They got a special guest on, one of the guys dealing with the evac from Afghanistan. Can't remember his name right now, but you definitely want to check out that interview. Tuesday, Pop Culture Culture Warrior with Angry Elf or Mad Mike. I don't even know who's going to be up on that one that day. But that being said, and I say that back because Massey will be up on Monday, but Mad Mike or Angry Elf will be hosting with CQ. CQ's got some guy on that's in some movie. I don't know what the hell it is, but yeah, it'll be on it'll be on the second hour. Then Wednesday, Radar and TZ. We miss you guys. Come on back on air. Love bullshitting with y'all, but they will hopefully be on this Wednesday. I'm pretty sure they will be, and then you guys can go see them on the Smoke Pit. Thursday, Ice is back with Sergeant's Time. Hopefully, Spanky is on there. Spanky, love seeing you all on there, and I hope you're listening in tonight. And then on Friday, we've got FTX with CQ and his whole entire crew up there. I don't know who's going to be on Friday. I don't know what game he's playing, but it's going to be something cool. And then we do a Nemo. If you're listening, buddy, you take care. You recover real well. Awesome stuff over there this weekend with the World of Warcraft and Leroy Jenkins. Yes, yeah, have fun with that. Great stuff, but don't know if he's going to be streaming on weekend co-ops this Saturday. But if he does, that will be coming. All shows will be coming to you live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. That is 3 p.m. Hawaiian.
All right. Thank you for filling out that time. That was perfect. One thing though, this weekend, this Friday is not a FTX Friday.
No FTX Friday.
There will not
Okay.
be a Friday show this upcoming week. Now, Keith, I saw your comments. Keith was saying that you sounded like a smooth Johnny Five earlier. To me, you sounded normal, but I guess to others you might have sounded robotic. But you fixed yourself, so
Not a problem.
All right, now David Cunningham, I see your message, but before we do, this was sent to me 10 minutes ago, and it was the Pope, the new Pope, Pope Leo the 14th, and his take on the Green Bay Packers. Let's take a look. Boom.
Filii et Spiritus Sancti descendat super vos et maniat semper.
I wish you could have heard it too, Coach. It is just as funny.
I saw the video. I saw the video when it came out. And look, as much as I went on about the Pope and everything and all the great stuff that the Pope was doing, there were some pretty funny videos that came out of there when the Pope got elected and he came out, and they opened the doors for him and everything. It was kind of funny because I was like looking at videos and like the doors open and then like all of a sudden you started hearing music like Cult of Personality would come on. One of they had some good memes on there, but when I saw that one when he said "fuck the Packers," I kind of lost it. That was pretty hysterical.
Yes,
that was hysterical.
And the even funnier part is there was something that he said in Latin that sounded like Super Bowl. So
yeah, it did.
It went together perfectly.
Yeah, it did. Man, we're gonna have fun with the next American Pope. All right, look, 20. Excuse me. I'm gonna make a bold prediction right now because, like I said, it's the world stage. And look, the Olympics we dominate anyway, so that's not even a competition anymore. It's more of a competition of who's going to come in second place to us. But on the world stage, there is only really a handful of events that happen that captivate the entire world. And I'm also including the United States in this because we are very U.S. centric when it comes to our sports. But the World Cup is coming to the United States in 2026. It's going to be played in Mexico, Canada, the United States. They're playing all of these things. The final is going to be at the shittiest football stadium, or the third shittiest football stadium behind FedEx Field and Bank of America Field over here in Charlotte, and that will be MetLife Stadium over in East Rutherford, New Jersey, the home of the Giants and the Jets. that shithole that's in East Rutherford that they should have never fucking torn down, should have kept goddamn Giant Stadium and put a fucking dome over it, you fucking people. Anyway, that being said, oh, and might I also add, at Giant Stadium, I did see Pope John Paul II. So I
Oh,
went
nice.
to a mass at Giant Stadium with John Paul II. So I might have a little bit of history over there with Giant Stadium because I kind of liked it. But that being said, the World Cup will be here in 2026. If Pope Leo wants to show the true pontification of Jesus in this world, USA will win the 2026 World Cup. And that's how it happens, my friend. Biggest
Nice.
world event. Let's do it. That's how it'll happen. We're going to win the 2026 World Cup.
2026 World Cup going down. Coaches predicted it. Y'all heard it
Shoot.
here.
Hey, look, and now here's something too. Now this is a true story. Last time that we held the World Cup was in 1994. I'm not sure if you remember that.
Mm-mm.
So the last time the World Cup was held in the United States was in 1994. Now, in that year, we were obviously the host country. We had not won like a match in the World Cup for like 20 years or something like that. It was forever. We were like always the worst team when it came down to football. But in 1994, the U.S. men's team upset Argentina and eliminated them, moved on to group play for the first time in since frickin' Eisenhower was the president, and they kind of captivated the nation. There was a little bit of a soccer swoon, and MLS started out there. It's happened before with these host nations. I remember in '98, France ended up winning the World Cup. They had a great team, but they were in France and they won the World Cup. Same thing happens over in Brazil, and they ended up getting to the final and then getting their asses kicked. But there's something to be said about the hosts. Now, personally, I would never want to play over in MetLife Stadium, but I'm pretty sure Team USA would like to. And come on, we're hosting it. Mexico ain't going to get there. I sure as hell. Donald Trump will actually put the wall up so the Mexican team does not go over and win the World Cup. Let's just leave that right there. That's why he wants it, because he wants the World Cup for us, and so does the Pope. So, Pope, let's do it. Let's do it, Pope.
Let's
Come
do
on.
it. Hey, Pope. Hey, bring us the World Cup and bring us the World Series this year. I got two more stories, and I'm going to go through it real quick. I know I said I was going to end this like 5 minutes ago, but the two stories that we didn't cover, I thought one was actually they're both diabolical. We covered the story of Steve Smith in which he slept with somebody's wife, and that husband called Steve Smith and had recorded the whole conversation. Well, because of the state that it happened in, he is able to file a civil suit against Steve Smith. And I forget exactly what the civil suit charge is, but basically, knowingly sleeping with somebody's spouse, you can file a lawsuit against that person and win money. It's happened one other time, and it's a pretty good chance that this soon-to-be ex-husband is going to be able to get money because his wife slept with Steve Smith, and Steve Smith knew that she was married.
I'll be damned. Well,
So, we do have an update to that story. I'm going to post it on the Sports Bar USA over on Facebook because I did not see that update coming from that one.
Yeah.
And the other story that we have here, it's a follow-up to a story that we covered a while ago, but this one's also diabolical as well. In December of 2023, there was a high school player that was shot right before their school's state championship game. Well, two of the players that were representatives on that team, who were supposedly friends of the young man that got shot and killed, honored the guy's jersey before they went on and played in the championship game just days later after 17-year-old Brandon Smith got shot and killed. Well, in a twist of this, one of the players that was holding his jersey to honor his teammate assisted in the murder along with 19-year-old Adarius Jashawn Williams. And by him assisting in that murder, he was also found guilty. He's got charged in connection with it as well. So he killed his teammate or assisted in killing his teammate, and then walked out holding his jersey days later in the championship game to honor him. I said, if that ain't the most diabolical thing that could have happened amongst people, I don't know what is. So wanted to share that and cover that because I just thought it was crazy. That's wild.
That's some twisted, sick shit. Yeah.
All right.
That's some sick shit.
So let's go here. David Cunningham did send the comments. Let's see if we got any other thing to highlight before we end. Keith said, which state? Asking for a friend. Let's see. Ooh, I don't know what you're talking about, Richard, but come on.
I have no
man.
idea what the hell you're talking about either. And if you really want to go ahead and say something about that, then you can say that to my fucking face.
Well, all right. Let's see. Keith said should have hosted it in Houston and put out plenty of trash cans. 100%. David Cunningham. We are going to end with David Cunningham's words. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Like King said, every day is Mother's Day. Thanks for tuning in to the Sports Bar and have a great week.
Peace.
So y'all do that. And we're out. Peace.